Jason, wait, where are you going? Where are you going?
Black and blue, I crawl along the wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue, I crawl to you. Black and blue, I crawl to you.
Hello, everybody, and where did everybody go? Decent. Tonyo, Digi, and Paige. Damn it! Okay, so if you've read the title, we're talking Pokemon. Pokemon, a franchise that needs no introduction because it's the highest grossing franchise in the world. Even higher than Nintendo itself. It really goes to show that Pokemon has such an astronomically pull on every video game market. How does it fare today? How did it fare back then? Well, we're going to talk about it right now. Now, Pokemon started in around 1995 on the Game Boy. You know, the Game Boy thing that had the puke-colored graphics. Now, despite the angry video game nerd never touching Pokemon as a series, I'm going to digest everything.
Hey, Tix, can I say something? The
Yeah,
Game
and
Boy did not have puke graphics. The Game
Yeah.
Boy had awesome graphics. What are you talking about?
oh yes, this is the first SmackDown where you have Nick, and it's the perfect time because everyone else suddenly vanished. Because apparently but you may not know about this, but the YRC, they don't like Pokemon, especially the time where I beat M-Page in Showdown. So, Nick, we're about to talk about where Pokemon began. Gen 1. Now, Gen 1. What can I say
Oh,
about
yeah,
Gen 1?
Gen 1. All right, so this is the first one.
Yeah, Pokemon Red and Blue in Japan. Where Japan was very into this game for some reason.
And
So,
America. America got really into it too, especially with New England, Florida, like the
Nick,
rest of the West Coast.
everyone. Oh, let me think of another. Oh, how about Wyoming? I think Wyoming loved it because Wyoming has the least amount of people, but they still loved it. Now, let's talk about the mass quantity of Pokemon. The thing about Pokemon Red and Blue is it is purely nostalgia that people still think of it as a good as the good day, a good game. Because if you really look between your nostalgic glasses, you'll find the cracks that is a glitched, fucked up mess.
Now, the thing is with Fire Red and Leaf Green, they were not very glitched up. You actually had to play the games very fair, so they were actually still pretty hard.
We're not there yet, Nick. So with Pokemon Red and Blue, you have to. There's a lot of glitches that you have to think. Let's talk about the differentiate from the rest of the series. First off, the special stat was 1. It wasn't special attack and defense yet. That started in Gen 2, meaning that special attack and defense were the same, which made some Pokemon literal monsters to
Like
handle.
Alakazam, you know.
Like Alakazam,
Exactly.
Slowbro with Amnesia, the
Freaking
Gengar. Like you also
Mewtwo.
Psychic was so dominant, like Mewtwo, the big bad beast Mewtwo that could kill every Pokemon without even trying. Oh god,
Psychic was way too strong. Same with freaking
Yeah, and
Water was actually pretty strong too. So
also the sprites looked off. They looked. Coughing sprite was wrong, and also a lot of them look way too goofy. Like I remember.
believe it or not, the Pokemon that were truly designed were not designed until after those original sprites on the actual original Game Boy. So that's their actual original look.
I know
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Think about people forget this about some Pokemon is that it didn't start. It started with misconceptions, but there is an element with Pokemon at the beginning that we're going to talk about after we talk at the end. The anime. We're going to talk about that at the end because we need to fit all 8 generations first. The thing, it is just so popular. There really is not a lot to say other than that because it's just that it was a smashing success by almost complete accident and surprise.
Yeah.
Which prompted them to make some really good change. And before we leave Gen 1, we have to mention Missing No, and we have to mention all the bugs, which there are numerous bugs with Gen 1. If you really want a gigantic list of every glitch in Gen 1, go watch some other Pokemon YouTubers. They're everywhere. Literally, search up Pokemon YouTubers. You'll find like thousands of them. And they'll give you a list of all of the Gen 1 glitches. But one glitch is famous, Missing No. Have you ever used Missing No, Nick?
Sort of.
Yeah, it can multiply items. It can glitch everything up. Like the sprites all fucked up.
Well, I didn't catch Missing No, but I fought Missing No and then run from it.
Yeah, and with Missing No, there are many other glitches.
Unless they're willing to ruin their game file, then they catch this.
There's a Missing No glitch where. Well, there is a glitch that can let you win the game without even catching any Pokemon.
If they catch Missing No one time, they're gonna log on to Pokemon again and they're gonna see new game and no continue.
Yeah, then there's. So now, what's with all the reverb? Are you trying to carry your phone inside? Okay, he's not there for a sec. Now Okay.
I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, there's an echo. So we're going to talk about Gen 2 as a fact as soon as Nick fixes his echo problem. Now, having said Gen 1, so many Gen 1 Pokemon. Oh, hello. You got an echo. Ugh. Don't. So Nick, now we're gonna talk about Gen 2 because. Hello, Nick. I can hear you, Nick. Oh boy.
Jesus, my fucking phone cut out.
Yeah, I suggest.
I'm sorry.
I suggest you get to your computer as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Now, having said Gen 1, it was a gen. Now, with Pokemon, they knew they had to make a sequel. They had to make a sequel because it was so goddamn popular. And
exactly.
So they made Pokemon Gold and Silver, but before they made Pokemon Yellow, which is just catering to the anime. And they fixed bugs, but not every bug. Now, Gen 2, where they fixed where they ironed out a lot of things. They added items. And also, it's basically 2 games in 1, because you get to re-challenge Kanto at the end.
Well, it's not 2 games in 1, because you don't get the full Kanto experience. It's just kind of a cut-out one.
Yeah, but you get to battle all 8 gyms again.
Yeah, but they're not the same 8 gyms that had the original Pokemon.
Yeah, true, but you get to at least they attempt it, and all on a Game Boy cartridge, which by the by is very, very small data space.
Well,
Like,
you're right. It's on a Game Boy, and I'm trying to recover Game Boy fucking batteries right now.
and
So you're right.
not only was it Game Boy, it was a Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color.
And also the sprites were all corrected.
Yeah, they were
And now,
a lot better at that point.
and the special stat actually split in two, giving special attack and special defense. For some Pokemon, it buffed them. For some, it hindered them.
Yep.
And also the sprites got better looking. Because
Also, like there were a lot of glitches that were fixed too.
Yes. A lot of the glitches got fixed.
In Gen 2.
Yeah. And Pokemon who sucked got evolutions.
Yep.
And in the fight, and also it added dark types and steel types. And fun fact, dark types is actually named the evil type in Japan.
Yep.
And
but it got fixed. It all got fixed back to the dark type when Gen 3 came in.
Yeah, now we're gonna switch to Gen 3. We have to talk about Gen 2's history. There's a lot of cool Pokemon that came out in Gen 2, like there was Steelix, and Golbat got even battier with Crobat, and you got cool Pokemon were introduced in Gen 2. Like I remember Snorlax became a monstrously powerful Pokemon in Gen 2. I know that from experiences. Also introduced two new legendaries, Ho-Ho and Lugia. God, those are cool. I remember catching Ho-Ho. Those were days that I'll probably never get back. Just like the game I'll never get back. Having said that...
Yeah, well, you'll probably get the game back someday.
I know it's kind of hard that we're skimming over some of the older generations. It's just that we're not that far back. Now, with Gen 2, it was a great end to the Game Boy era of Pokemon. Now, being said that with Game Boy, we're not done with Game Boy. We got to go to Game Boy Advanced, which we'll go to now. Okay, Nick, you know a little bit more about Advanced than me. We got to talk about the Hoenn region. Yeah, in the Hoenn region, everything got bigger because Game Boy Advance is bigger. God, and Pokemon just got better and better. Like Pokemon got abilities back in Gen 2. Like it made the whole idea of battling even better. Plus in Gen 3 you got contests that Nick likes for some reason. Remember contests, Nick?
Yes, I do.
And then in Emerald version, you got the Battle Frontier, which I never got to play. Yeah. You're echoing. So in our super. Okay, hold on. Let me think. Gen 3 was a very popular time for Pokemon, but at the same time it wasn't. Because a lot of people who played Gen 1 and 2 stopped playing Pokemon. It was, it's like, and more Pokemon were created to be stronger, and some Pokemon finally found their niches, and then we got Pokemon that just weren't good at all. And the balance of Gen 3 is that it was both the start of a new era and the ending of an old era. because you couldn't trade Pokemon from Gens 1 and 2 into Gen 3. So that made people upset. I think there was originally going to be a feature for that, but I don't think it was ever programmed in. Now, I know we skimmed over the first 3 generations, but now we're going to talk about a generation me and Nick actually played. Gen 4. Diamond and Pearl. And Platinum. Okay, Nick,
Yeah, I think that's the best one.
Yeah, now, okay, so the things about this is they had this physical special split, meaning that now moves, instead of based on their type, were either physical and special.
Oh, thank you.
There were classifications
Thank
of
you.
move. Yeah, thank you, whatever.
This is just one more right here. Yeah, I was talking to my dad.
Okay, now with Gen 4s, there also were a lot of stronger Pokemon introduced, like, I remember Garchomp was a monster.
Right there. No, not on my bed.
Yeah. I remember.
No, it was just 4.
Okay, I'm gonna try and talk through this. Diamond and Pearl.
Maybe.
Oh.
Joe's.
Okay, Nick.
Yes, sorry, I was talking to my dad.
Okay, Nick. Since you were talking, I'm gonna let you explain some of Gen 4. It's your turn. Tag in. Come on, Nick. What do you mean? Oh. Gen 4 was one of the biggest generations ever. It was considered by many to be the biggest generations ever. Also, since Fire Red and Leaf Green were remakes of the first games in the 3rd generation, we got one of the best Pokemon games of all time in the 4th generation, and to this day still remains in most people's eyes to be the best remakes and Pokemon games, period.
You know, I think Gen 4 actually was the best.
Yeah, we got Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It was so... They were good games, like the best remakes you could have ever made. They had everything in that thing. A Safari Zone, a Battle Frontier, all 16 gyms from Kanto and Johto. It's a shame that I never finished it. The thing about Gen 4 is that it was so simplistic, but it's so complex at the same time. Later on, when I talk about competitive Pokemon, we're going to show a video of, like, not all Pokemon are created equally. But having said that, Gen 4 was me and Nick's childhood. But we gotta step to the next part of childhood. Pokemon Black and White.
That's the kind of the continuing one.
Yeah,
And it continues over.
I remember first seeing the trailer for Black and White. You know, like, they move. The sprites move.
You know, I think we've been talking about these pretty fast. I think we should try talking about the other past ones a little bit more after this.
Yeah, we'll see if we can squeeze in some other details later. It's just there's a lot that can be talked about in this scenario, and this can't be a 2-part episode. We have to try and cram a lot of things in, Nick. There's so many things in the Pokemon franchise that could that just have to be speedrunned. That's another thing we'll talk. Now, Gen 5 is where controversy of Pokemon just started to show. Meaning that people hated some of the new Pokemon's designs and called them lazy. Like, I remember people complaining about Garbodor and being a garbage bag. And, like, the ice cream Pokemon. And, like, what the fuck? I thought they were great Pokemon designs. But no. People have to complain. People have to complain about something and complain about Pokemon getting lazy. But trust me, we're going to get to when Pokemon got lazy very soon. And now, Gen 5 was not lazy in the slightest. They fit like 150 new Pokemon in the game because it really felt like it was like Pokemon booted. Okay, no, what the fuck. Now, with Pokemon rebooted, it was clear that like because you couldn't
Yeah.
trade in your game Pokemon from the previous games until after
Hang
the
on,
main
can you hear me?
story. Yes.
All right, perfect.
Now, you couldn't trade your past Pokemon into Gen 5 without completing the main game. And with the main game, you had to use all the new Pokemon. I remember Nick complained about that when you were little.
Yeah, I remember in 6th grade.
Yeah, he wanted to bring his Empoleon in right away.
No, are you talking about the Sword and Shield, or are you talking about X and Y?
I'm talking about Black and White when you wanted to trade Empoleon.
Oh, yeah. I remember I couldn't do that right away. I had to be the champion with the rest of the new Pokemon.
Yeah, technically N wasn't the champion. Alder was the champion.
Yep.
But no one wanted to play through the Elite Four again just so they could fight the real champion. I always thought that N was tough enough. And then after Black and White, God, I haven't had sleep in a few days. Now, having said Black and White and Black 2, White 2, they were good games. Now we have to go to 2013, where things were different. Pokemon finally decided to go from sprites to 3D models. Now,
That's
this
when I
is
was a little bit disappointed right there, because the animations were actually kind of a little shitty.
yeah, there was a lot of controversy with that too. Now, the thing about Pokemon X and Y is
My cat just
simple.
knocked something over. I'm a little bit mad right now. All right.
Okay, translate that anger to
Right.
results, Nick. Now, Pokemon X and Y. It's October 2013. This is the first Pokemon game that actually had voice chat. And the only one, might I add, because it turned out to be a disaster. Because they didn't know how to regulate it. It also was the first Pokemon game to just, the animation in Pokemon 3D, it's all right. That's all I can say. And X and Y turned out to be very boring games, and apparently nowadays they're considered the worst Pokemon games because of that. Because
though, I think they did the right job encouraging the brand new Pokemon, though, because if other regions didn't do that, then there would be really no. Listen,
Yeah.
there was a lot of respect for the 5th generation, but not 6th, 7th, or 8th. But that's because the 6th, 7th, and 8th ones introduced shit tons of old ones.
That's because, Nick, they can't just release 150 new ones anymore. They have to take the time of labeling them or deciding what type they are, what they're going to look like, their names in different languages. Also, they have to copyright them as well.
That's where I think the 5th generation was the best one.
Now,
with the 4th, the 5th and the 4th is a sweet spot.
and another thing,
Third,
the only
4th, and 5th.
another
I was gonna
thing.
say 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So,
Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, with 6th generation, we also got Gen 3 remix, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Remember those, Nick? I remember them. My only experience.
Good, but those were good, but the graphics at the time just sucked. I was used to playing PS4 games, dude.
Yeah, the thing about
Basically.
the Gen 3 remakes is that Gen 6 was also the generation where Megas came in. Mega evolutions. The only way to buff shitty Pokemon and make already strong Pokemon even stronger and have them destroy your friends instantly. The best way to start fights and make people tear their hair out. Now, God, I'm fucking tired. Oh, God.
We gotta go on for more, dude. Come on.
Okay, Gen 7. Gen 7 is when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. And they had Alola forms, reinventing old Pokemon. Remember
Yep.
the Alola form for Muck was fun. I also remember they actually made Muck good. They actually made Sandslash cooler. And they actually gave some viability to Ninetales. And instead of battling gym leaders, you went to 4 islands and did trials. Because it's based on Hawaii. Having said that, there are some things missing from Gen 7. One is the National Pokédex, which will eventually come into play. Damn it. Falling asleep.
Come
Ugh.
on. It's only 8:20, dude.
Look, I had a long day. I had to do so much shit today.
Dude,
But
me and my brother rearranged the room. We took the bunk beds apart. We sorted out all the furniture. I am just exhausted too. We gotta get through
okay,
this.
now we gotta do this. We can't let this
We
thing
can't
fall
stop. We
short.
just
Like
can't stop. I'm tired too.
now, with Pokemon Gen 7, we need to discuss. No, there wasn't a national Pokédex. Pokemon were still in the game that you could transfer, but this is the start of a ball that was going to roll. Also, the characters were nice. We got a nice story, especially Lucamine being one of the most menacing villains ever. She was a overprotecting mother who took on the Ultra Beast. So yeah, I gotta talk about the Ultra Beast. One of the most broken class of legendaries ever. Along with the Tapus. Oh god, so many competitive matches where those things just soloed me. Now we're gonna have to talk about Gen 8. Oh, Gen 8. Pokemon Sword and Shield, everybody. How you feel about it? It's
I don't really like it so far.
yeah, to me it's a disappointment for a multitude of reasons because I understand going to Super 3D on a main console is hard. But I know you can't have all the Pokemon in it. There are some things that could have been done but could have been catastrophic in a business perspective. Like taking an extra year or two to make sure every Pokemon gets in the game. Now, that could have been possible if it wasn't for a ton of other business casualties along the way, like the anime, the merchandise. Like, you already announced it. You couldn't. And the mystery of the Gen 4 remakes, it's just so baffling to this very day. Oh. Okay. Bottom line is Gen 8 had a lot of problems. And if we listed every problem, we'd be here forever. But the main one is that everyone whines about is we can't have every Pokemon in the fucking game. That's the one everyone whines about. It's just, and that's simple. Like, but the thing is, Pokemon is like that bank back in the 2000s, the big banks in the 2000s when there was where the stock crashed somehow. It's like they're too big to die. That's the main reason. People still buy the games. And that's the one reason why it's still going, because people still buy the games. And if people still buy the games, they're still going. And the future of the Pokemon games is still unknown, because the future of Pokemon games is just unknown. Couldn't be any simpler than that. Like, now, having said that, we gotta talk about other things in Pokemon because other
So,
things.
do you want to talk about the other Pokemon games? Like Pokemon Ranger, Pokemon
We're
Mystery
not done
Dungeon?
yet. We gotta talk about a crucial thing that keeps Pokemon alive. It's called competitive Pokemon. Now, we're gonna give you an example of a Pokemon that you think would be awesome. It'd mow people down. His name is Rampardos. He's a fucking dinosaur on the thumbnail. He's got a big head. He's got a stellar 165 attack. Oh my god, you think like, oh wow, that can mow through everything. I'm gonna win the fucking game now. Okay, DSM, if you're still here, I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna start streaming the episode, or whatever. So you can, I'm gonna fire up the screen share.
What do you
I don't
mean?
know.
It's not streamed yet?
No, I mean like I have to screen share this episode of some. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to hear. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just laying in my bed. My cat's fucking
Okay, so
wrestling.
hopefully this
My cat's
actually
trying to
works.
wrestle me right now. It's so cute. Sorry, I've just been so distracted. My room just changed completely tonight. I completely rearranged the room.
No, DSM. No, DSM, wait. Yeah. Just, okay, for those viewers, I'm setting up the one thing we're watching tonight. Something that a Pokemon YouTuber who studies in Pokemon competitive things. Now, can anyone see? You see Nick?
I see it. Alright.
Okay.
Here we go. Ball swipe game.
Yeah, how good was Rampardos actually? Now this is gonna
Next
explain
up,
a
we
lot
have
of things.
Rampardos. Seeing as we did Luxray recently,
Alright,
following
I'm
it
gonna
up
keep
with
my mouth
another
shut.
staple of early game Diamond and Pearl
Yeah,
teams
I
means
love
that it's
watching
clearly
this
written in
show.
the stars
Like, I
that our
watch it-
beloved
I
Gen
watch
4 remakes
sometimes
are
3
on their
episodes
way,
a
and you
day.
can't tell us otherwise. Just like
because
Rampardos, we're extremely hard-headed. This huge dinosaur, specifically
Yeah.
a Pachycephalosaurus, is best known for its Zidane tactics and being one of the fossils that could be revived in Oreburgh City. Today,
yeah, I
we'll be
remember
examining if it
that.
was able to
Remember you
ram
getting one
opposing
of these
Pokemon
things,
in the
Nick?
competitive scene.
I think
So
you
we
had
asked,
one.
how good was Rampardos actually?
Now,
Sort of.
prepare to be
And in this
dazzled
video,
by
we'll be going
how
over these
Pokemon can be
competitive
affected
formats.
by the competitive
The first
metagame.
thing that stands out about Rampardos is its attack stat, which can only be accurately described by a long stream of expletive-laden superlatives. It has the second highest attack in the entire game. Its base 165 attack stat, eclipsing even the mighty Slacking's 160, and only coming in behind Deoxys attack. Now, if you want to get
Deoxys
technical,
attack
it
is
is weaker than
legendary.
Metacham's pure power boosted attack, but only slightly, as Metacham reaches a total
Yeah, those are some
480 attack,
impressive
and Rampardos
stats.
sits at 471. However, in terms of actual damage
most
dished out,
Pokemon
Rampardos makes
are
even
measured by
Metacham
stat
look weak by
line.
comparison. This is thanks to the second thing that stands out about Rampardos, its stab move, Head Smash, which packs a staggering, astonishing 150 base power, and unlike Hyper Beam and its clones, it doesn't require a recharge turn after use. It is equivalent in strength to a max special attack Deoxys Attack's Psycho Boost, which is to say it is preposterously powerful. Now, it does have a drawback, of course, dealing recoil to the tune of 50% of the damage it dished out, but thanks to Rampardos' high HP stat, this was wholly manageable. It could either use the immediacy of Choice Band, which would boost Rampardos' attack to
Now,
a
we're gonna talk
screaming
about all of this after the
706,
video is
or it
over.
could set up with Swords Dance,
How a
as it
competitive
approached a
thing actually
1000
works.
total attack stat with a single turn of
They'll
setting up,
gladly
eclipsing
explain
it if
that.
it chose to run Life Orb. On top of this, it packed unlocked the Mold Breaker ability, allowing it to hit levitate users like Bronzong,
And I'll make sure
Flygon,
to
and the Rotom
explain
appliances
how all
with
this
Earthquake. So as one of the most
works.
dangerous offensive Pokemon in the
For
game,
people
what
who
did this
don't
mean
know.
for Rampardos' competitive use in its debut generation? Well, sadly, it was not in for the smashing good time we all hoped for. While it had astronomical attack and great HP, the rest of its stats were abysmal. Now, low defenses can be overlooked on an offensive Pokemon, just look at Infernape. But Rampardos had that most crippling
Yeah.
flaw of being incredibly slow, as well as being
Yeah,
incredibly
Dino
weak. Now, you
Fuel
can
was
be
not
slow
good.
and be a great offensive Pokemon too, as Tyranitar is no speedster, but you can't be frail as well. It has to be one or the other, and you cannot get away with being slow and frail. While Rampardos could pull off some astounding feats with its Choice Band Head Smash, such as it having more than a 56% chance to one-hit KO even absolute max
doing-
defense Skarmory after Stealth Rock, and
That
having
big
more than
head.
a 51% chance to two-hit KO even max defense Swampert with Stealth Rock, it would just never be able to consistently find opportunities
so
to
fast.
throw
I
its
feel like
massive
it's
attacks
so-
out.
it's
It was
really
both
a
too
stealth
frail
rock
and hit super effectively by too many
No,
common attacks to safely
Rampardos
switch
is
in
not
on
a
anything bar
stealth rock
Blissey,
setter.
and too slow to make up
It
for
was
its frailty
supposed to
by
be a
threatening slower
gigantic
Pokemon
attacker.
when it came in off double switches or
But
after a
no.
teammate had been KO'd like Infernape did. Sure, it threatened
too
slow stall
slow and
teams, but
frail.
other Pokemon could
That's
do
the
that without being
basicness.
completely destroyed by every
Yeah.
single offensive Pokemon in the tier.
I
Rampardos
think I
just
remember
couldn't
trying
hack it.
to
But this
use
isn't to
this
say it
thing,
never saw
but
any
it
use in OU at
failed
all. Its awful
miserably.
speed could be used to its advantage under Trick Room. Dedicated Trick Room
Yeah.
teams were rare as a
Trick
whole
Room.
and all but non-existent
Ever-
at high level
ever
play
used Trick
precisely
Room,
because
Nick?
they were the epitome
Pretty
of an
good.
inconsistent,
No,
unreliable gimmick
never
in
did.
singles, but they did exist,
Even a
and those
coworker
teams pretty
tried
much
explaining
automatically
to me what
added
it was.
Rampardos. These teams needed
Yeah,
to
trust me,
KO
we're
as
gonna go
many
into greater
Pokemon as
detail
possible
after
under
the
Trick Room's
video is
short
over.
duration to make it work, and no other Pokemon could do that as effectively. Plus, there was a certain beauty in watching Jirachi take 80%
And then
from
I'll
a
be able to
resisted head
explain
smash.
gibberish
In
a
UU,
lot better.
Rampardos faced the exact same issues as in OU. It possibly had it even more difficult
'Cause
because even the
competitive
defensive Pokemon
Pokemon is
were
one
on
of
the
the
faster side,
deepest
and even if
things
they
in the
didn't
entire
outspeed, they
franchise.
threatened to one-hit KO and or deliver debilitating status. With Pokemon like Milotic, Venusaur, Arcanine, Registeel, Weezing, Omastar, and Spiritomb. Chansey was once again the only place it could really switch in safely, and Chansey
Oh,
was
it's
reserved for the
Chansey.
most hardcore of hardcore stall teams. Stall teams that Rampardos couldn't even always threaten because it was completely shut down
yeah.
by the rock-resistant
That
Intimidate
game is
Hitmontop.
Pokemon
In
Battle
addition to this,
Revolution,
Rampardos was of course
otherwise
outsped
known
and
as the
severely
correct
threatened by
way to
just about
do
every
3D
single offensive
animation.
Pokemon in the tier. It was even cleanly two-hit KO'd by Guts, Swellows, Brave Bird, and Facade, despite its resist
it
to
could have
both
been.
moves. It could potentially patch
Yeah.
its speed with a Choice Scarf set,
I mean,
and that
look at
did give it
that
the jump on
animation.
many offensive Pokemon, but certainly not all of them, since it only hit a speed stat of 354. This still left it outsped by Dugtrio, Sceptile, and the aforementioned Swellow. Plus, UU packed a ton of priority that Rampardos couldn't take, most notably Toxicroak and Blaziken's Vacuum Wave, and Azumarill's Aqua Jet. Even the possibility of
Polish.
Rampardos trying to fix its speed
remember
with
using
Rock Polish to
Rock
sweep
Polish.
was made impossible, to say nothing of how difficult it was to set up a boost in the first place. Even
Yeah.
offensive teams often had little issues switching into not just Scarf Head Smash, but Jolly Scarf Head Smash, since Rampardos needed to
Oh, yes,
compromise on power
natures.
even
I'll
further
explain
if it
that
wanted to
later,
outspeed
too.
anything. Pokemon like Donphan, Registeel, Steelix, and Aggron
And
were
items.
terrific switch-ins that
And
meant even
abilities.
all the work Rampardos would do just
So
to get
much
on
to
the field
explain.
safely wouldn't
That's
amount
why
to
this
anything.
episode's kind of
Rampardos'
gonna
one
be
saving
a
grace
little
in
bit
UU was
longer
that
than
Trick Room
most.
teams were noticeably better than in OU.
Actually.
They weren't metagame defining or anything, but they weren't exactly gimmicks either. It was easy to set Trick Room up
Not gonna
since
be
one
as-
of its main setters was an already amazing Pokemon, Uxie, while Slowking was quite good as well, giving Rampardos the support necessary for it to grab that kill
I'm
or
just
two,
watching
provided the opponent wasn't packing priority and had to rely on Trick Room turns running out. Rampardos was still on the less standard side and wasn't exactly a wise choice for important tournament play, but it at least did have a place in the vast wonderland of viability that is DPP UU. That said, since Rampardos wasn't very good in UU, then it wasn't used very much. And since it wasn't used very much, it dropped to the 4th generation's lowest tier, NU. And its issues of
Oh.
being slow and frail
We're
were
gonna
talk
not
about-
completely gone,
We're
but
gonna
they
talk
were at
about
least
tiers,
somewhat
too.
neutered by the tier's overall power
Talk
level, with
about
Rampardos
not
being
very
able to
good when
take a
it
hit
comes to
from many
tiers,
common
though.
Pokemon like Regirock, Skuntank,
Yeah,
and
trust
Hypno.
me,
Of
we're
course,
gonna
its
get into
primary
that.
use was still on Trick
Yeah.
Room, which was at its most viable in NU, packing numerous excellent setters, as Slowking was available just like in UU, and still did a great job, while there were
Gets-
other solid choices in Exeggutor and
my
Porygon
playful
2
cat
to set the
finally
stage for
decided to fall
Rampardos'
asleep
banded
on
head
my
smash
bed.
to hulk its way
Yeah, I
through just
chose
about
you this- I
everything.
chose
Even
this
Resist as
episode
bulky as
because it just
Sandslash and
proved-
Probopass
just
needed
because
to
a
have
Pokemon
absolute
looks
maximum
menacing
defense intense
doesn't
investment
mean
and
it's
stayed at perfect
powerful.
health to even stand a chance. Once again, it was rather niche
It
even
may
in
be
NU, but
powerful
Rampardos did
in
have its
attack,
place
but
as the
every
Trick
other
Room
stat
poster
sucks.
Pokemon. The 5th generation got faster and stronger, as if it already wasn't
Oh.
easy enough to blitz by and one-hit KO Rampardos. And to add insult to injury, Ferrothorn existed. Not only did it
Ferrothorn
resist Head
existed.
Smash and
Remember
force
my
even more
Ferrothorn,
recoil
Nick?
on Rampardos in the process of taking
Remember
it via
my
Iron Barbs, the ever-present
Ferrothorn?
rain meant Fire Punch
Yeah.
wouldn't even come close to one-hit
My
KO.
Ferrothorn
This
was
in
better,
addition to
though.
the ubiquity of Protect
Not
completely
really,
shutting down
because
Trick Room
you got
teams,
yours
as well as the
later.
new
I
toy
got mine
syndrome it
back
had
in
in the
5th
previous
gen.
generation no longer being a factor, meant Rampardos never even glanced at Gen 5 OU,
Oh,
nor
poor
UU for
Dino,
that matter.
dude.
The next tier down was now
Ferrothorn
RU,
was
and
more of an
Rampardos had
OG
some
than
brief
your
viability there.
Ferrothorn was.
Funnily enough, it didn't
If
even
Gen
need
4
to use
comes
Head
out,
Smash
I'm
on its
getting
main
a
set. It
Rampardos.
had
I don't
gained
care
Sheer
if it
Force as an
sucks.
ability from the Dream
It's
World,
not
and
very good,
alongside
I'm
Life Orb
sorry,
and an
dude.
excellent special move
I
pool,
know,
making up
but
for
I'm
its
getting one
decidedly
anyway.
meager special attack stat, carved out
I
a
don't
small
know,
niche as
man.
being able to
I'll get
lure
rock
physical
polish.
walls, expecting a standard
honestly, I
banded
think you're
Head
better
Smash
off
fare,
getting
but then
a
got
Steelix
blasted away
because I
with
won the
special attacks.
championship with
Torterra
one.
and Draudigon were crushed by Ice Beam.
I'll
Coolfish
give it
and
rock
Alomomola were
polish, or
shattered
I'll
by
give it
Thunderbolt,
Choice
and even the
Scarf.
mighty Steelix
I
was
can
blown
make it
away by
work.
Focus Blast. If it had to actually use rock coverage, such
I
as
make
against
Dust
Entei,
War
it could
work.
use the more accurate Rock Slide, which was rarely left wanting for power, since it was also boosted by sheer force. That and the fact that even an uninvested Rampardos had stupendously high attack. That said, it could switch Rock Slide out for Head Smash in order to one-hit KO more slow, bulky
Wank.
threats, most notably Amoonguss and Eviolite Roselia. One-hit KOing things was the name of Rampardos' game after all.
Yeah,
it was
I
an interesting
remember.
set that showed just how many things were viable in RU. As for the classic choice
RU.
standard, it could
Yeah, that
technically
was
be
created
used,
in
but was
Gen
generally
5.
seriously outclassed by Aggron, who, in addition to not taking Head Smash recoil thanks to its Rock Head ability, came with the added benefits of an excellent defensive profile, courtesy of its steel typing, and enormous defense stat. That said, Rampardos wasn't a true RU Pokemon, and dropped to NU. There, it didn't bother with mix,
Damn, I think
opting
my-
instead
no,
to
is that my
choice band
brother or
Head
my
Smash
father
everything in
shot
sight.
one?
While it had to be careful to avoid status while
Joe got
switching in,
out.
it was able to crush just about every slow, bulky Pokemon in the tier, such as Masharna, Mandibuzz, and Alomomola. As we know by now, even resists
We
like
all know that
Seismitoad and
the water
Golurk
types
weren't
will
safe.
all
And
beat
as we also
Rampardos.
know by now, an insanely strong
Yeah.
attack does not a good
We all
Pokemon
pretty
make.
much
And
know
Rampardos'
that.
low
Yeah, you
speed,
just said
trail
it.
We all
defenses, and
Insanely
even
high
consistent
attack.
common attacks far outweighed its sheer power.
Just
It couldn't
wait
keep
until
up
you
with the
find out
offensive
what tier
onslaught
it
of
ends
all
up
the
in.
Ludicolo, Samurott, Sawk,
Pretty
and
much,
Charizard
yeah.
running around. It was used so little even in NU that it became among the first Pokemon in history to become untiered, meaning not recommended for usage in any singles tier. While it may seem weird for a Pokemon rivaling even Deoxys attack for power to be placed alongside the likes of Beautifly and Beedrill, truth is stranger than fiction, and nowhere is that more apparent than in Pokemon tiering systems.
got
At least
put with
Rampardos
the
had an
bugs.
interesting place in RU, and it was
Isn't that
viable
funny?
in NU. It just wasn't so easily placed on teams
Just put
thanks
with
to
the
its
fucking
delicate
bugs.
nature, thus leading to its low usage.
So that's how
Alright,
bad
listen,
it was.
Rampardos actually has a pretty good list of pros
Fucking
when
ad.
arguing for its VGC usage. Stab, Rock Slide, 2 phenomenal abilities in Sheer Force and Mold Breaker, and of course a bewildering high attack stat to back it all up. Now, if only the cons weren't so staggeringly bad. That speed, those defenses, sure, if
Doubles.
Rampardos got a hit off, it could devastate the enemy,
main
but good luck with
competitive
that.
thing. I
In
don't
fact,
give
it
a
was
fuck.
even harder in doubles than in singles, since even if
I
Rampardos was
love
able
how
to eliminate
Pokemon
one opposing Pokemon, it'd have
recognizes
another foe
doubles
to contend with.
as
What's more,
the main
Rampardos' raw
Pokemon
power
thing.
wasn't worth using when there was another perfectly good
VGC.
rock
Yeah,
dinosaur
well,
available. And I'm not talking about
unfortunately,
Bastiodon.
doubles
Tyranitar
just
may
has
not have
much
hit
more
as hard
to
as
it.
Rampardos, but it
Yeah,
was better in
Tyranitar
virtually
is
every other
good.
way. So the ways that mattered, in other words. It stands to reason
I'm
that
sorry,
the
I
only
wanted
success
to get up to
Rampardos
get my
ever
cup
saw
of
was a
water
set
right
that
now
emphasized
because I
getting
sound
one
very
hit
parched,
off no
but my
matter what.
cat's
Nugget Bridge
sleeping
user
right
Talking
on me.
Lion managed to
Yeah.
finish top
Can't
4
do
of the
anything.
Nugget Bridge
Allergies,
Invitational
Nick.
using a Scarf Jolly Rampardos, which was pretty much
But
the only
anyway,
way to
that's
get this
besides
thing
the
to work
point.
outside of Trick Room. Either way, Rampardos would be vulnerable to any and all forms of speed control, including slower Pokemon, faster Pokemon or choice users, priority, and just plain defensive play such as good switching, protect, or redirection. So suffice to say, this thing may have fared better in the Stone
My
Age.
cat's such a
As
good
expected, after receiving none of the significant buffs Rampardos would need to become a halfway decent singles Pokemon, it fell through the tiering rung once more. However, it wasn't doomed to become untiered for a second generation in a row. This time, a new sub-NU tier came into existence, PU, and Rampardos made its home there. It finally wasn't on the gimmicky side, like it always was, even on its best days in the generations prior. Sure, it wasn't a pillar of the metagame or anything, but it was a legitimate choice. As a wall breaker, it was, of course, peerless. With U-turn and volt switch support to get it onto the field safely, its sheer force boosted physical attacks decimated just about everything. Superpower ripped even the massively bulky Audino to shreds, and even Eviolite Tangela wasn't safe, as Rampardos in fact wanted it to switch in so it could destroy it with Fire Blast. Ice Beam was also an option as that destroyed Marowak. It was especially dangerous with sticky web support, which removed most teams' method of dealing with Rampardos, outspeeding it. However, it wasn't the only thing Rampardos could do. It could even function as a solid offensive stealth rock lead. Many players used Monferno and Golem for such a role, but Rampardos had a very important trick up its sleeve. With Surf, it would be able to one-hit KO Golem, bypassing its sturdy thanks to Mold Breaker, starting the battle with a huge advantage for its team against one of the most common leads. Its powerful head smash also made it difficult to remove the stealth rock it had set up without sustaining heavy damage. Plus, head smash's recoil, if it was enough to feint Rampardos, could be used to block a rapid spin or defog attempt, allowing the players to maintain and apply pressure with the rocks. Overall, Rampardos was finally a legitimate part of a tier, and while not a world beater, it was a genuinely solid PU Pokemon. Gen 6 had been nice to Rampardos, at least when compared to the relative misery it had endured in other gens, but Gen 7 went right back to kicking it in the Pokeballs. Even PU was not hospitable to it anymore, as its nemesis Aggron had returned to just about entirely outclass any attempts at Choice Band. To make matters worse, Lycanroc made up for its frailty and weakness to common attacks with speed, allowing it to actually abuse Swords Dance as well as priority Accelerock, which effectively made it outclass Scarf Rampardos too. Sad as it was, there really was no reason to use Rampardos.
I don't know about Gen 7.
If one's aim was to win and return to the barren depths of Untier. But hey, at least it got to be with its Gen 4 buddy Luxray. And that's it. So how good was Rampardos actually? Well, it was a glass cannon. Insanely powerful and insanely frail. That's not necessarily bad, by the way. Just look at Metachamp. However, the problem with Rampardos is that it's a slow glass cannon, which meant in most battles, the glass part was significantly more pronounced than the cannon part. Even attempts to fix its speed through Choice Scarf or Rock Polish were doomed to fail, because it was just slow as well as being so immensely frail that it would either not be able to set up safely or be revenge killed by a priority attack. As a result, Rampardos plummeted through the tiering rung, even being amongst the first generation of Pokemon to receive the rank of untiered in black and white. Luckily, it carved out a legitimate niche for itself in Gen 6 PU, or it would have been untiered for 3 generations straight, seeing as it returned to the non-tier in Gen 7. Hopefully, if Diamond and Pearl remakes come out, they give Rampardos something, but thus far, its head smashes have been punctuated with heartbreak. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, if you liked the video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False Swipe Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content. And in the comments, I want to know, what do you think about competitive Rampardos? Do you think fixing all of its flaws?
Okay, everybody, now that the video's over, we're going to talk a little bit about competitive Pokemon now that we have... I've showed you
competitive Pokemon.
Now, competitive Pokemon finally has a lot of... plain a lot of depth to it. Like, ever since Gen 1, where Gen 1, Tauros was the king. Gen 2, Snorlax was the king. Gen 3, Tyranitar was the king. Gen 4, I think it might have been Jirachi, but and since Rampardos started in Gen 4, let me tell you a little bit about it. Let me put it to you simply about the Pokemon. It was the second strongest Pokemon in its attack stat in the entire game. But the problem with it is simple. It's too frail. It's too slow. It will always get hit first. Even if you try to set up, you're gonna be crickling yourself. And even in Trick Room, the move that makes slower Pokemon go first, it's still gonna get walled. And basically, there's so many Pokemon that can not only they're Pokemon that can just take its hits and then just kill it back. Like, that's how bulky the game is.
That's how bulky the fucking thing is.
Yeah, even like I said, like there are Pokemon that can take Rampardos' hits. And it's funny that in the later generations it had to use special moves to be stronger. When you think of Rampardos as a physical attacker, because its special is only 65. That's not gonna.
Yeah.
That's how that is. It has to use special moves just to cover certain Pokemon. Now, being said that, there's a lot of competitive Pokemon you can go over. But if I went over competitive Pokemon all in its entirety, we'd be here forever. So I'm going to give you a few things. Life Orb, it powers up all attacks. Choice Band powers up physical attacks, but you can only use one move. Choice Scarf powers up speed, but only one move. Choice Specs powers up special attack, but only use one move. There's Assault Vest.
Yeah.
There are so many items in competitive Pokemon. You can look them all up. Or if you really want to go to competitive Pokemon, just look up the website Pokemon Showdown. You'll be screaming your head off in no time.
Pokemon Showdown offers all of the kinds of Pokemon that you can battle.
Yeah, every generation you can fight in any competitive format. But the thing is, competitive Pokemon is guaranteed to knock 10 years off your life because your blood pressure's gonna boil from all the salts from that game.
Pretty much. Just remember not to take it too seriously.
But they're not going to listen to that advice, Nick, because people are thick-headed. Now,
yeah, they pretty much are.
They're thick as Rampardos. Now let's stray away from the competitive scene because it can go on forever. So I'm going to stop rambling because bottom line, competitive Pokemon has been going on for so long. So many people have made lives out of it. Just look at VGC, and it's just a thing.
Yeah.
That you can.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that becomes apparent when you play battles in Pokemon. That people are better than you because they study these stats, study these abilities. Like, they cheat in order to make it not fun. And that's what I hated about Gen 8. That, like, no one wanted to play anymore. And I never got a chance to show my fucking skills. Because no one wanted to play Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
And I ended up losing every time I did play someone. Now, having said that, now we have to shift our focus to something else. Our next focus, Nick, is we're going to talk about the spin-off games. You have experience with Pokemon Ranger, Nick, so I'll let you talk about that.
Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia. That was the best. That was actually the first Pokemon game I've ever purchased. The second one was Pokemon Platinum. And then I inherited Pokemon Sapphire from my cousin who just gave it to me.
I remember that, like...
She just gave Sapphire to me. She was like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. I was clearing my house out. I thought you would like it.
Now, here's the fun thing about Pokemon's Ranger is, like, it's like the least talked about of the spin-off games. Because the least talked about the spin-off games is Pokemon Ranger. In fact, it's a video that Jaden decided to make a video of.
She actually liked the game.
Yeah, not Mystery Dungeon, not Mystery Dungeon, not Conquest, not ones that actually deserve to be talked about by a major YouTuber. No, she chose Ranger. Speaking of those, I want to tell you a few spin-offs I had experience. I remember Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the most popular spin-off to this day, even having a remake of its first game on the Switch, which I own. Now, Mystery Dungeon is interesting because there's no humans. You are a human stuck in the Pokemon world, and you go on adventures. Also, instead of catching Pokemon, you recruit them. You recruit them, And then you have, and
Hang
then you
on, just
create
5 seconds.
gigantic teams. Ugh. Oh, gigantic teams, and with
You can still
Pokemon,
share your share about the game, but then after I'll share my share about the game.
the
You
Pokemon,
go first.
yeah, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is simple. Like it's a good spin-off. Like it's new. It was new. It was interesting, and I loved it. It was challenging too because there's no trainers. It's just you as a Pokemon trying to save the world. Like the Powerpuff Girls. Okay, no. Now, with having said that, Mr. Dungeon was a good spin-off, but there were many spin-offs. Naming them all would take forever, so we're just going to talk about the ones that were noticeable. I remember on the Wii there was a spin-off called Poke Park Wii Pikachu's Adventure and Poke Park Wii 2. Poke Park 2 Wonders Beyond. Those were great spin-offs. I remember bashing people as Pikachu, whipping up leaves as Snivy, firing up people as Tepig, and washing people around with Oshawott. Because those were that was a good spin-off. Saving the world is a team of 4, just like every major company has as their superhero lineup. Now, then there was one other spin-off from Gens 4 and 5 I remember. A singular game, a singular passion, a singular singularity. Pokemon Conquest. Damn, I wish that spin-off. That was such the best spin-off. You mix Pokemon with Warlords. And it was like if you picture it nowadays, it's like if Pokemon and Fire Emblem had a baby. A very competent baby that should have been recognized a million times over. Now, with Pokemon Conquest, it was so fucking good that like it's so underrated. It was like the best, one of the best Gen 5 games. And then what happened after Pokemon Conquest was there were multiple. Going back to Mystery Dungeon, there was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue and Red Rescue Team, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky, which I had. And then there was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, which is kind of the worst one of the series. The thing about Gates to Infinity to remember is that it was the first Pokemon the first Pokemon game on a DS to actually have 3D graphics, 3D models, if you will. It wasn't Pokemon X and Y. It was Gates to Infinity. And I'm going to say this. I think Gates to Infinity pulled off the representation of 3D graphics better than X and Y did. Okay. Talking about those spin-offs.
What about Pokemon Trossel?
Pokemon Trozy, yeah, Pokemon Trozy and Pokemon Shuffle. Like, I do remember playing Pokemon Shuffle. We have to talk about the spin-offs that went onto the phone. So, we gotta talk about Pokemon Go. Because not mentioning Pokemon Go as a spin-off would be atrocious. Pokemon Go is still going today. In fact, I could play it right now on my phone and it'd still be relevant. Now, they keep adding all the old Pokemon in there. And that's Pokemon Go. Then you got Pokemon Shuffle, which is a puzzle game that got ported to the phone. And then you have Then you have Pokemon Masters on the phone, which is basically instead of recruiting Pokemon You're catching Pokemon, you get Pokemon trainers to join you.
I gotta get my other AirPod that's on the front porch, but I'm still hearing you.
It's simple. Like there were so many spin-offs that just got put on the phone. And the Mystery Dungeon series just kept going with Super Mystery Dungeon,
Yeah.
which was a pretty good game. And then there was now they have a spin-off called Pokemon Cafe, which I'm
What's
like,
Pokemon Cafe?
it's a Pokemon game for the phone where you make lattes for Pokemon and play puzzle games to help make them. So that exists. Now, we have talked about almost every type of genre in Pokemon game. Now, we have to talk about something that's sort of also Pokemon related. The cards. Nick, it's time to talk about the
I remember the cards.
Now,
I remember the Pokemon cards.
just like M-Page talked about in his Yu-Gi-Oh episode about how there are so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards, there are just as many Pokemon cards. And the
If
Pokemon
not more.
Now, I have nothing to know about the Pokemon card game other than that it's just almost as complicated as the game itself. Remember, you have to have a coin on you just to make it work. Just to have the bench, just to have a functional game, you have to have a coin on you because so many cards. I remember it said if you have to flip a coin. Ow. Flipping a coin in a card game really turns things around in most things because most people didn't own a coin. They just own a fucking card. I remember you gave me my first Pokemon card, Nick, that Duskull. Which is
Oh,
probably
I
why
remember that. Want to know my first one?
Which one?
It was what the fuck? Crawdaunt? I think it was Crawdaunt.
Crawdaunt. Yeah, that thing's a monster too.
My brother's was Trico. Joe got Trico.
Yeah. Okay. So after Pokemon, the cards. I'll talk about something I found interesting. The stuffed animals. The stuffed animals, in my opinion, were so vivid and interesting. The whole section on the website of how to get a stuffed animal as a
Yeah.
Pokemon. Now, we're going to talk about stuffed animals a little longer when there's going to be a stuffed animal episode. It's a plush episode. But let's put it this way. There is Pokemon merchandise on almost everything. Every fucking thing. Now, I remember even seeing online Pokemon condoms. Yes.
What? No.
They-
You did not see that kind of shit. You're
They-
kidding. You have to be kidding me.
They were in Japanese, Nick.
It was only in Japan.
Yeah, the description was in Japanese. Because Japanese are fucked up. And then
You have to be kidding me about that, though.
No, Nick. I was looking up fucked up images for a YTP and I came across those.
No, dude, that's too shitty. Come on.
No, Nick, no. I wish I was lying. Now, being that said, Pokemon had millions of type of merchandise and merchandazzle. The thing about Pokemon
condoms? What?
Yes.
What? No.
Nick, we're not gonna. We have to talk about every Pokemon merch.
All right. Well, yeah,
But
we're gonna have to move on from that kind of shitty ass thing. All right.
The
What's
thing about
next?
the Pokemon merchandise, there was a million things. But here's the thing that truly made people want to buy the game. The anime.
What?
The anime,
No, the anime came out after the game, so I think it was more like the cards,
not
to
in
be honest
America.
with you.
No, the anime came out in America before the game. When the game came out in America, the anime came before it. Now,
Well, the thing is though, in real life, like in when not no, real life is never mind. Forget I said that. But like with Japan, I think Japan got into the cards first and then the game second, and then Japan was like, "Why do the Pokemon in the game look so much different from the cards? These Pokemon are ugly."
ugh.
I think they got into the cards first because the cards were released in Japan like when the Japan games were
We're
made.
not. We are not talking about the cards anymore. We're talking about Ash
Right.
fucking Ketchum.
I know, but the cards go in hand with the anime. It's cards,
Uh,
anime, games. They're all equally important.
I know. Now the thing about the Ash Ketchum, boy, is he a
And don't
character?
forget, I was rearranging my room tonight. I was throwing things away. I did not throw your cards away. I have the whole binder in my
Yeah,
closet
we're
right
gonna
now.
sell those eventually, make a big
Oh yeah,
profit.
we're gonna
Now,
make a huge profit. We're gonna make sure we sell these in like many years though.
uh, so before we get derailed any further, let's talk about the anime. The anime was, in one turn, stupid but brilliant, entertaining but cringy. It's sort of like it was revolutionary for the time because every other video game adaptation at the time was a cartoon. Take a look at Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Robotnik.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, like
remember
every other,
that.
and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. And that's Mama Luigi to you, Mario Hink. Like every other video game adaptation was a cartoon. Many of them flopped. Just take a look at Bubsy. What could possibly go wrong? Now, Pokemon anime was different because it was a anime. Many people, the only other anime back then, said there were only two other animes I think that were as big as Pokemon. I think there was Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball, that doesn't need a reason, and Sailor Moon, and with for girl reasons. So
Sailor Moon.
those were the only other two animes that were seemed to be mainstream at the time. And it was run by a little company named 4Kids, who eventually turned out to be the biggest reason of censorship is so fucked up between Japan and the US. Like I remember, I saw like they like to. I remember I was watching an episode of the anime for YTP I'm making, and the jelly donut scene. Oh my god! They
The
literally.
jelly donut scene.
You don't know what it is now. It's basically they love they love to. 4Kids love to disguise rice balls because apparently rice balls are not considered American, so they call them jelly donuts. Oh, there are so many things wrong with that annotation. Also, it gives us the intonation of the best people ever in the corniest group ever in anime. Team Rocket.
Yeah. Oh god. Team Rocket's going on
Jesse.
blasting off again.
Yeah, Jesse, James.
I hate those people.
Uh,
That's one of the trillions and trillions and trillions of reasons why I stopped watching the anime about like a year and a half in. And I started watching the anime at around 8.
yeah, yeah. But
8.
don't worry, Nick. I'm gonna make a YTP of
I
the
stopped
anime.
watching it when I
Great.
was about 9.5, and then I started playing the games instead.
Now, being said that the anime was such a hit with the young viewers because it actually made them want to buy a glitchy game and have a Pikachu on their team and on their shoulder and everyone was singing I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
No, I don't remember that.
This was the 90s, Nick. People would do that.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't just sing that all of a sudden.
Then
You
there
gotta
was.
be kidding me.
But
If that was the 90s, then I wish I was. Then I'm glad I was born in the last of it.
The point I'm making is it was so spicy that it's. And let me give you a hint. You think SpongeBob will never end is bad? You think Family Guy never ending is bad? You think The Simpsons going on forever is bad? Try having the Pokemon anime having over 1,000 episodes plus.
Do they?
And literally only over 20 movies.
Do they though?
Yes, I'm actually going to look it up at this very second and find out exactly how many Pokemon episodes there are at this very time, because there's going to be episodes listing and God, give me the fucking details, Sarah B. Fucking website.
Oh man, I love Cerebi.com. It's how I figured out. When you called me one day and said there's going to be a new region of Pokemon, I remember I was in 6th grade. This was early 6th grade for the both of us. And you
Okay,
said,
then.
Nick, there's going to be a new region of Pokemon. And I said, what? And I looked it up on Cerebi.net, and it said Unova. I called it Unova.
Oh my God, look at all this 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, movie to 900, 1,000, 1,000, 1,100. There are currently in this time of this episode, there are 1,146 episodes of Pokemon.
And how many of there are Simpsons episodes? Or Family Guy?
Simpsons,
I'm talking about Simpsons mostly, though.
700.
So you're saying that shitty anime show has more episodes than... Oh my god. Don't even get me started.
Still 10 years old, so what's the point? Yep.
Dude.
Oh,
Dude.
Because
No.
Ash
Just no.
And here's the funny part is The Simpsons have been out longer than Pokemon anime. They've been out since like the 80s on the Tracy Ullman show. Pokemon anime started in 95, 94, 95. Like that's how ludicrous it is that they released that many episodes. And you're going to see the fact that that's just the way it is. Apparently,
Pretty much.
think that probably that anime is easier to draw than fucking Simpsons. Seriously, it's that simple. And if now, okay, now, so as we start to end our closing, we got any final thoughts, Nick?
Well, I'd say Pokemon has had its ups and downs, but it's still a pretty strong thing, and there's a lot of people who love it. But I know you and me have not as had much fun in the game series, but others have. Andrew's liked it. Other kids his age definitely loved it. Like my little cousin MJ, he loves it. He has Pokemon Sword, and he's been playing through the game, and it's easy for a kid. It's easy for a kid at his level, so he loves it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Pokemon. No matter how much someone hates it, it will always appeal to somebody.
Listen, my cousin Mac and my cousin Jack, they're like... Mac is about, 6 years younger than me. Jack is about, 8 years younger than me. They've kind of grown out of Pokemon at this point. They played up until the very end. They even have Sword and Shield, but they're at the point where they figured out Sword and Shield was not as fun as the older games, because they've had Diamond and Pearl, they've had they started off with Diamond and Pearl. I started off with Ruby and Sapphire, but they started off with Diamond and Pearl, and they played all of the games up until that point, and they realized that it's just not as fun as the older ones.
That's
Just like
the
I
long.
have.
That's the long and short for the good chunk of
So
Pokemon fans.
so Cormac, which is Mac, Cormac, same thing. They got Cormac has Sword, but Jack does not have either of the versions because he's decided I'm not going to play Pokemon anymore unless they either make a remake of Gen 4 or just a spin-off on my phone. And he just plays the spin-offs on his phone, and he will only play a remake if it's a remake of an original game.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna.
He decided he's only gonna play remakes at this point, or just Pokemon games on his phone, because he does not have the PS4 storage for any of that, or his Switch storage.
Don't worry, it'll happen.
Hopefully.
No.
But I'd say Pokemon for littler kids is better than ever, though, because my little cousin MJ, he's only about 6. So,
Yeah.
like, he loves Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I
It's
tried.
his favorite thing ever.
But I tried to plant a seed into Andrew, making him a Pokemon fan, but it turned out just to be a dud.
Yeah. MJ likes Sword and Shield, and he likes to play Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is a little too advanced for kids his age, but
Yeah.
you know what? He can go ahead, and I think he'll actually benefit from it. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna leave that to his parents. But that's besides the point.
Okay. So now that's pretty much it for Pokemon for us. Now, next episode we're gonna start Cartoon Network Part 1 and see if we
All
can
right.
see if we can top the Nickelodeon episode. Well, not really, because
Okay.
it's gonna be in 2 parts. But even still, we'll take a look at the total link after we're done for the next 2 weeks. Okay. Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Ciao.